Well, I got the minerals put out for the cows, and I got the perimeter of the garden weed-eated. So I want to talk today about my struggles with keeping rabbits out of my garden. And I'm getting ready to plant some tomato plants, and I want to get this secure. I want to talk about the things that I've done in the past that have worked, and the things that I have done in the past that don't work. And that's an easy one because nothing's worked. I've got a new plan, and that's what I want to talk about today. That's what's next on my list. First of all, this garden spot is my temporary spot. This is on a hillside. It's really rocky here and uneven. And eventually, when I get my permanent spot, I'll be able to put permanent fence up. I'll be able to put wire mesh around the perimeter. I'll be able to do a lot better at keeping rabbits out, but this is what I've got to work with for now. You can see that I've got insulators on these posts, so you can tell that I've had electric wire strung up in the past. This is what I've done in the past. Down low, I've got those three close together, and as I go up, they spread out a little bit. Really haven't had any problems with deer getting in here. It's really been rabbits. And what I did with this was I just ran the poly wire through and wove it back and forth in one continuous line and went back to the charger. And one of the things that I think happened was on this lower one, this is uneven and the wire grounded out, I believe, in some spots. And also this weed barrier, I'm not sure that that's not an insulator. When it's really dry, it may not be providing the ground it needs to produce the shock and the connection. So one of the things that I'm going to do different this year is I'm going to run a ground wire on every other one of those insulators, so I'm not relying on the actual ground to make the connection. So I'm going to add some connectors. Well, let's just look at this other one I got set up. I'm going to add some insulators, and then I added this one standout here to help prevent jumping over. I don't know whether that's going to work or not because there is a space right through here, but the idea is that I get a good shock on rabbits before they learn that they can just jump right through it. I've seen them jump through it in the past. Coming up the driveway or coming down the driveway, I've seen a rabbit jump right through it. Well, if a rabbit's just going to jump through it, it doesn't matter whether it's grounded or all of those measures are in place. If it can jump through, it can just jump through. So knowing that, I ended up putting this netting all around the perimeter. And that seemed to work for a while. And then, like I said, I believe that I ended up getting a grounded out situation where the shock wasn't there, and the rabbits ended up chewing through that. And I saw where they were getting through, and it was towards the end of the season, and so I just let it go. And so this year, I was going to go repair those spots. And when I was going to repair them, I found that the sun had gotten to some of that and degraded it, and it was brittle, and so I just tore it all up, so I'm not going to be using that. Before I use this netting, I got some deer netting, which was about 10 foot tall, and it's really fine and real small holes, and you can almost can't see it at a distance, and that didn't work for me. Very first thing that happened is my dog got inside this garden and freaked out and tried to jump through it and tore a big hole in part of it. So I moved on from that onto something else. If I can stay on top of the charger and test the wire frequently, I think that maybe early on they could nose around on the wire and get shocked and learn that that's what's going on there, instead of it being dead and them figuring out that they can just walk through or hop through it. Hopefully, they may be smarter than we think, so hopefully they can have a short learning curve. So this configuration is my plan, so I'll go ahead and get all the posts set up like this. If I didn't mention it, obviously I'm going to start with the alternating ground and hot, with the bottom one being ground, and then this one will be hot. This is how I did it, my gate opening. I've got that on the gate, and I just put a little bit of slack in the line so that I could open and close the gate. Okay, here's how I have it set up. I've got positive coming off of the charger and clamped onto that cable. Negative's coming off of this side and is on my ground rod. And then I have another wire coming off of that and going to the negative poly wire that I have there. So it's negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. I ended up running positive on both of these. Ah! I'm just kidding, it's not on yet. All right, let's take a look at a rabbit's eye view on this. So a rabbit gets up to the edge of the garden, and he can see there's some plants in there, some tomato plants, some basil. But wait, what's this? What are these wires? Should I dare try to go through there? I'd like you to try it. I'm just getting started on the garden, but let's do a little tour. Here's a row that I had cucumbers and butternut squash on last year. Got the cattle panels up here for them to climb. Next couple of rows, I've got tomato plants, got those in the ground. It's been very, very wet here. I was a little worried that they were gonna get waterlogged or something, but it seems like they're hanging in there, and it looks like the rain's gonna hold off a little bit. I got basil every now and then in here. I had just seen videos where gardeners talked about planting that amongst the tomatoes to help keep insects and worms from taking over. So I did it last year. I had more basil plants on it last year, but I got 4 of them this year. I think I had 6 last year, and I feel like it helped. I did eventually get some worms, but not very many, and they weren't too hard to find and kill. This whole row last year was bell pepper, and none of it made. And that is one of the things that the rabbits got in on and gnawed them down pretty good. But by the time that happened, they were already not showing signs of making it very well. These other 2 rows here, I had green beans on this row. Those worked out pretty good. On this next one, I did peas on this, and they all died. And then the second half, I did black beans, and they worked out pretty good. I think this year I'm going to plant both of these with beans again. You can see my drip irrigation main line right here. I I ended up teeing off and running underneath the mat. You can put that above the mat or below the mat, and I like to have it on top of the mat so that I can keep track of what's going on with it, if I have a clog or any problem at all. But this, it's kind of hard to tell. I'm gonna try to hold the camera level. It's hard to tell how steep this hillside is, but it's enough that even though this mat lets water pass through it, it was just so steep that the water was just running down and not really saturating through it, so I had to put it below it. So also I got these posts and this conduit above here for my tomatoes. This is probably, I don't know, 6.5 or 7 foot high. I use the method of tying a twine to the tomato plant and tying it off here, and then using these clips. If I can do this one-handed. These open up, and that part back right there in the hinge grabs a hold of the twine. You put it around the stem and snap it. These work really well, but they do have a life. That end ends up breaking off eventually. It's just plastic. Well, I guess that's about it for this video. As always, I hope that something in this video helps somebody. For that matter, I hope it helps me. I'll see you next time.